What is up, guys? It is Sam Mothership-Q coming to you live with another video. Today, we will be taking a look at Lunar Silver Star Story Complete for the PlayStation 1. Lunar Silver Star Story Complete is an RPG released on the PlayStation 1 in 1999 and the Sega Saturn in Japan in 1996. It is a remake of Lunar the Silver Star, which was released on the Sega CD in 1992. The most significant difference between the two include variations in the plot that tie more of the story together to allow greater dynamics in the character development for the main cast. Other small but crucial changes include improved graphics, fluent anime-esque cutscenes, voice acting, and an improved engine. For the sake of individuality, I will go ahead and act like the Sega CD and the Sega Saturn versions do not exist, and look at Lunar Silver Star Story Complete as a standalone title built from the ground up for the PS1. It is considered by many that this is the definitive version as of late, so it really deserves the most attention. Lunar is a standard role-playing game that dares to redefine the standard meaning of the original genre. You play as Alex, a young man who dreams of exploring the entire world and going on an epic adventure. His living in the small town of Berg has always held him back, however, until at least he receives a push from Remus, Alex's best friend who has never amounted to anything in the eyes of the other villagers, but encourages the exploration of nearby areas for treasure. Accompanying them is Alex's childhood friend Luna, a young girl orphaned at birth and raised by Alex's parents. Immediately, you find the characters presented to you to be very likable, and their personalities pristine. The battle system is heavily turn-based and relies heavily on a preset class scheme. Remus acts as a pure melee with no access to MP. Luna supplies herself as a healer with massive MP but incredible vulnerability to attacks. Alex, your main character, is naturally melee but uses MP to implement special attacks. You gain and lose quite a few party members throughout the adventure, all with their own unique story and battle class. After your initial party of 3 finds the greatest treasure known as the Dragon Diamond nearby, Remus convinces the others to travel to a faraway trade city known as Maribia, where they could possibly sell the diamond for a lot of money. The entire arc that I just described takes up a good chunk of the beginning, and really only leads to the more investable plot as to who Luna and Alex really are in terms of their interesting Dragon Master lore that Lunar graciously offers. Lunar is certainly unique when compared to your old typical PlayStation 1 RPG library. The battle system is probably the more uniquer ones you'll see of that generation. It is turn-based, with some real-time elements sprinkled in. In the course of a turn, you determine every character's action, and then watch them all play out in conjunction with enemy attacks. Depending on your attack, you spend time making your way to the enemy, time that could be spent attacking, but is used instead in securing your spot by the enemy. It's really intriguing how moving around the battlefield can really take up an attack, similar to how modern games like Eternal Sonata work in terms of challenge. Lunar boasts plenty, but just be prepared to grind quite extensively, especially mid to late game. When you think of an RPG around that time in terms of story, you would most likely think of Final Fantasy VII. While it is true that specific game has excellent story objectively, it just never made the cut for me. If I want to play a game with an engrossing story, I would choose either Final Fantasy IX or Lunar, most likely the latter. What makes this game a better storyteller is its very relatable characters. Most characters in fantasy RPGs are old, experienced, or incredibly action-based. In this game, the protagonists are a group of teenagers who are not the most experienced of the bunch. Given the fact that they are teenagers, show that they have a lot of growing up to do, and this game has the most dynamic cast in any game I've played to date. Lunar was highly aware that older kids was going to be its target audience, so it tugs at the player's heartstrings a little bit. For example, Nash, one of your primary mages, acts as a self-centered jerk who thinks he knows more than everyone. He looks at his peers as inferiors rather than friends and only cares about himself and Mia. Throughout the game, he became more trustworthy towards the people he once called inferiors, but now called them friends. Then there's Remus, my personal favorite character, who isn't exactly sure as to what to do with his future. All he knows is that he wants to go on an adventure and become rich in the process. It's because of this view on life that people think that he won't own up to be as responsible as his father, the mayor of Berg. Remus must prove to himself and everyone that he is destined to be somewhere in life that he can easily make his calling. Then of course there is Luna's story, but that's way too big of a tale to tell here. It's just way too spoiler heavy. Just play the game and you'll then fully understand just how lovable the entire cast of characters can be. Lunar Silver Star Story Complete is not just a game, but a cinematic experience that will take you on a journey filled with a plethora of emotions. Between the amazing characters, the refreshing battle system, and gorgeous graphics, there is simply nothing to hate here. The 16-bit aesthetic may turn off some modern players, but it is certainly something that you should not let stand in the way of one of the best gaming experiences you may ever have. I give Lunar Silver Star Story Complete a 9.6 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more videos.